NFT bots. I get it, as the NFT market matures, this is going to happen. We have to evolve as traders, as people inside the market. But NFT bots, it feels like mints are getting harder for even the people who know how to handle gas. Anything that's overhyped, that has a great profit margin, there are more and more advanced traders, advanced botters, more people coming from outside spaces, the sneaker botting space, DeFi, coming into NFTs because people can see the lucrative margins in here. And if we learn anything from Amazon wins because they're on razor thin margins. Jeff Bezos has always said, my margins are my advantage, are my competitive advantage. So he's willing to get razor thin margins because of their entire network and business model to beat out everybody else. This is what's happening within the NFT space, where traders who even are more advanced than other people but don't have advanced tools like bots, being able to have their own contract, being able to do automation and be faster than other people who may have the knowledge, maybe in alpha groups, the average NFT trader is going to get wrecked in these hype drops. What I'm going to be covering today is my thoughts on the overall botting and how to recover from this market, and where I believe as a regular NFT trader, the different options that you can go moving forward. So first, let's go into the project that I just missed minting and I lost a significant amount of gas. This is Tubby Cats. At first glance, looking at everything, you wouldn't think that this is a hype drop. Socials are okay, 20,000 K on Twitter. Artist only has 2K, and the engagement on these is kind of low. Not the highest quality marketing as well, just a bunch of just different retweets. But the reason why this project picked up is because it got marketed and got the right people into this. Mainly the DeFi people, decentralized finance. So these are the crypto people who specialize in decentralized finance, who probably already have bots and already understand advanced things when it comes to trading on Ethereum. There are new players coming into the space, some sneaker bot people. And when I say bot, I'm talking about being able to automate the process of buying, minting, and getting these NFTs on multiple wallets. I'm gonna show examples of some people who are more advanced than others, and even when you do have a bot, people have gotten wrecked. Inside MVHQ, I can already see people talking about how they lost an ETH, 2 ETH, all the way up to 13.5 ETH in gas. That's gone to the miners, some of that's been burned as well, and now it's just making Ethereum an ultrasound and deflationary asset, but it makes us traders extremely sad. And for the average NFT trader who is not into these groups, I consider myself above average with gas usage and have won multiple gas wars, but even that knowledge is not common knowledge. I lost out in gas and I kind of just put in my transaction, but I got wrecked. And it was also because of a specific gas contract and how it was coded. 721A. The NFT project Azuki, the anime NFT that is considered a blue chip by a lot of people, or at least an upcoming project, and it's what my profile picture is right now. I was able to get into that. This is where they were innovating on the process of making a more gas efficient contract. So this has brought a lot of pros and cons into everything. More projects have been implementing this. So now we have more gas efficient mints, meaning you can spend less gas to get your mints, which is great for whitelisted people inside a project. It's bad for when it goes to public and everybody is fighting for these mints at public. So what that means is I can significantly up how much gas I would use and spend little Ethereum. But now everyone's adjusted their prices, or started to adjust it, and then tools are slightly lagging behind their estimations, mainly MetaMask. Now, what happens is when you try to do some of the different things like pre-send your gas transactions or try to speed up your transactions, since there's bots that automatically do this faster on the back end, everybody will get wrecked on the front end trying to get into some of these high projects, especially because the margin is seen and was high. I was talking about looking at mint price and then looking at secondary sales. Is there high volume? Looking at secondary sales, what is it going for? Is it multipliers above that? And when you looked at secondary and when you looked at volume, they were significantly higher. And there were different people talking about how different DeFi people were inside this. Regular crypto Twitter, not the NFT sector, was talking about this. And there was a lot of trading on this and a lot of high-end sales for some of the 101s and the rarer trades. Those are all good things you want to see in a project. Mint was only 0.1. It was on secondary, it was going from anywhere from 0.5 to 0.6 and even reached all the way up to, I believe, 1 ETH or more on secondary sales early on. This is something that is extremely frustrating for the average trader, and then even for newer people trying to get into the space. When you look at, this is the dev who made the contract, or we believe it's the dev because he's tagged inside the smart contract, 0x not gonna make it in GMI. And here he laid out the gas prices based on his estimations of what they could potentially be. So this is what the gas prices would be. So usually you're gonna look at your gas prices and then you're gonna estimate based on your profit margin where you're gonna be placing this. One of the things that lets bots bot hard is the fact that they're buying hundreds at a time or even more than that. And there's rares in this, there's higher traits. So they could go on razor thin margins and have a higher percentage chance of catching a 1-of-1 or a rarer trait to sell to get over these margins. People just in the NFT space don't understand how trading works or the razor thin margins that you work on when you're trading in a more mature market. When I was trading Ethereum, BTC, there were times where you just settle for a great scalp of $150, $200, and you just consistently get those base hits just to grow your portfolio. There's profitable trades that I see people not get into because they're like, oh, it's only $50 after transaction fees. Oh, it's only $100 after transaction fees. Oh, it's only $200. I'll take that every day, all day, as long as I'm in profit. Now you get more sophisticated traders, more people willing to get into the market because they have different advantages. This is one of those things that you have to be paying attention to if you're inside the NFT space, because it's only going to get worse. So you have to get uncomfortable. You have to adapt to the times. You have to start understanding that NFTs are not as easy for the people who want to scale above 6 figures. It's easier in my opinion below 6 figures or even like below 10,000 range when you're first starting out, because the name of the game right now in the meta is getting whitelists, being active in projects, because these projects want to develop community and they want engagement. They want genuine active engagement, and one of the ways to do that is to handpick your whitelist. And unfortunately for many traders and many of these botters, they're not going to do that. However, one of the things that you can do is trade your time for these whitelists. If you do not have as much ETH, if you do not have a higher bankroll, one of the things you can do, like I always say, is get the whitelist and then assess later if it's going to be a profitable project. For Tubby Cats, the whitelist was significantly easy, though I missed it because I was on vacation. From what I've seen from other people posting, it was one of the ways to get whitelist was just drawing a Tubby Cat in the way that they wanted you to, and you submitted it and then you got whitelist. And this is a 20K project. The thing else that is messing other people up is these gas prices. Normally with regular contracts, not 7 to 1A, MetaMask will assume it's a regular contract, but since you can up these significantly, the gas prices and how much you ramp up your gas, the estimation is off. And a lot of people aren't considering that right now. And your fails for this are off as well. So one of the ways that you can protect yourself if you're still trying to get into this, if you do understand gas, is to use a RPC. Even the Tubby Cats developer or smart contract developer talked about this earlier. So if we see here, we suggest people use Flashbot Protect RPC for an NFT mint. To oversimplify it, they have logic that will make it so that your transaction doesn't go through and have the miners pick it up. I don't understand it fully, but I've been using it. It's been suggested to me. I've been using a different RPC, but unfortunately it was down for this mint. So I've been looking for new RPC. I know people who've used Flashbots. There's nuances to Flashbots. It protects you against gas, but sometimes you have to up your gas significantly because it's compared to other people who are using Flashbots to get your transactions through to the miners, because it calculates it. It thinks if you're not gonna get it passed through the transaction through the mempool, which is basically where all the miners pick up their transactions from, you're not gonna get a failed gas transaction. So here, one of the things that somebody pointed out inside the contract, the way that they configured it is that because they place this one function at the very end, that it would calculate your gas fail at the very end, and you would be paying the majority of your gas fail. So in my case, I lost 0.3 Ethereum, and I believe Ethereum right now is hovering around, I wish it was 25,000, is hovering around 2,500 times by 0.3. I lost $750. I came out relatively unscathed to some of these other people who placed in a lot of money. Within this market, it feels like I'm slowly bleeding ETH. So there's a lot of things that need to come into consideration of how to handle and protect my capital moving forward. The biggest thing is risk management and protecting the capital that you've already gained, and not trying to gamble too much on the big home run hits. Get your base hits, be consistent. Here's cross.eth, but he talks about how here's one of the more successful bots. Someone paid 200 ETH, $500,000 in gas, not even just the mint price. This is pure gas, just to mint, and he got it through and got it to 1,000 mints. This is what you're competing against, is sophisticated botters, because there's been botters inside the market, but people are getting smarter. They're finding different tricks. They're getting ahead, and we're having more people, because of the types of margins, the profit that people are seeing, and ways to exploit that come into the space. Now the biggest question is, how do we protect ourselves against these botters? What are our options right now, and what should we be doing? So there's three options. First is becoming a botter. Is if you are a coder, if you have some Web3 knowledge, it's learning, getting a mentor, trying to get into these different botting communities, in the top botting community, to learn what is going on and how to leverage this knowledge. First and foremost, that's one of the options that you have. The cons to this is it's expensive, and it's not reasonable for every other person for like 90% of the people who do not code, who do not understand Solidity or contracts and the complex nature of this. So if you do not have the bankroll, you do not have the ability to get into these botting communities, that is probably not an option for you. I legitimately considered coding something myself, but I don't have the time, and I probably would have been one of these people who lost 13 ETH with a bot inside this drop. I don't have 13 ETH liquid, but let's scale that down significantly and just say like 1.3 ETH trying to mint on a few wallets. The other option is you're gonna try to participate this, and then you're just gonna make it like a lottery ticket, set up an RPC, and then do more research on different custom RPCs that make it so that you don't get failed gas transactions. It doesn't send it through if it doesn't think that your transaction will get picked up by the miners. Look at those various options. It'll just be stuck pending, and then you can just do the nonce trick or cancel it, and then not have to pay any money in gas. It was nice when I had a working one. Now I have to do more research in finding one to be able to set up on my MetaMask. It's surprisingly very easy because you're not going to be paying that money in gas to try to get in for some of these hype drops, because not all of these hype drops will be bottable. So that's the bright side. The bright side is that projects are paying attention to this. They're trying to set anti-bot measures. They're figuring different things out. You still have the ability to get into these projects early, which leads me to number 3, which is going to be the meta and what most people are doing right now, and what still is the most profitable is getting on pre-sale, getting on that whitelist, participating, getting into these communities. If it's a hype project like this, if you minted early, you would have been in significant profit, and you could have just waited. Our secondary sales there, our volume there. Okay, I can mint now. If it's not, I just wasted my time, but at least I didn't waste my money. This is the less risky of all the other two, in my opinion, unless you have strengths and core competencies in those areas. The other thing is that this does not scale. It's reliant on my time, and we only have 24 hours in a time period. So how do I actually scale this to build up wealth that will allow me to have financial freedom, which is what a lot of us are trying to achieve within this NFT market, within the crypto market. And that is always the question, the fire question, which is financial independence, retire early. This is one of the things that I've been putting off at, is working with VAs. Or not even VA, just building a team to be able to whitelist for you once you reach a certain level. This could be hiring artists to submit in the giveaway channels to get whitelist, hire VAs to actually do the chatting, the active participation in these communities, sign up for all the different raffles, try to go for all of these different whitelisted projects to be able to scale your time and your money. Granted, this is going to be dependent on how much money and cash flow you have and how well you are at managing a team. There are more entrepreneurs, more teams coming into this space. So I'm going to start small and then see what happens. I also have my friend's company. I'm going to be going to talk to a CPA today about the logistics of creating a company for myself so I can expense out the costs that are going to VAs. So I'll share all of that experience. I think just getting a whitelist, using your time or your money to hire VAs and scale it is going to be one of the more profitable options. Still risky. NFTs are highly risky. It feels like we are in some type of bubble. When everything settles, when everything gets more mature, we'll see where prices actually start to settle for all of these different projects, and if they maintain their value or if they come significantly down. So I hope this helps. I hope this helps give context and insight into the NFT market from where I'm seeing it from, being inside these groups and having to deal with these botters, knowing people who have bots, and then knowing people who have bots who failed. That being said, I'm going to do more content on whitelist and more content on projects because I have to. I've been putting this off because it's so much more profitable for me just to win these gas wars, to just trade. So I'm going to be learning secondary trades, how to be a more effective trader on secondary trades, but at the same time managing my VAs and trying to figure out ways to find projects to give to those VAs. That's my thoughts on the market right now, where the meta, how it evolves, how everything matures, what other issues we're going to be dealing with. I don't know. We're early, but these are going to be the growing pains of surviving in an NFT market before mainstream adoption. It can be lucrative, but it can also be demoralizing and you can lose a lot of money. So be very careful inside this space. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, behind the scenes trades. And if NFTs become not as lucrative, I will transition into the next most profitable region, like I have been from crypto, altcoins, into this space. Thank you for watching the entire video. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you in the next video.